It's scary because anything could happen to a black person in America. White people are acting like we're just objects. I truly am afraid that something like that happened to George Floyd might happen to anybody out here, especially my dad.
Police killed a black man right here, bruh. And I live right there, bruh.
Police violence is a virus.
Police violence is a virus.
We gotta make sure that we fight for the next generation of kids. I say.
How I've explained George Floyd's murder to my son, I don't know that I really have explained that much. Because where we live, he can kind of see everything. And he knows that there's something important going on.
No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace! Say his name!
George Floyd!
Say his name!
George Floyd!
Step out and face away.
Please don't shoot me, Mr. Officer. Please don't shoot me, man.
I didn't watch the whole video. It's not something that you can look at and take lightly.
I can't breathe, man.
Okay.
Please. Mama.
Get up and get in the car right.
That man was murdered in my neighborhood by people who are almost guaranteed to get away with it.
This is where it was, right here. Everybody's out here right now to make sure that this type of stuff never happens again. This is your neighborhood. This is your corner store. This is the store you would spend your money at. Doesn't feel good. We've always been a threat for some reason though, but they're the real threat. I know I'm white, but I know I'm black too. At the end of the day, these are my people. And these black people, these brown people, they know my struggle. Right outside my house, man, right outside my house. Yep.
My stepmom, who is white, when she goes to the grocery store, nothing really goes on. But when my dad, who is black, goes to the grocery store, people will look at him a certain way and they'll whisper to each other's ear while they're staring at him. Most of the time I want to say something to those people and let them know that he's not a bad guy.
Just taking this box of cereal right here. I missed their socks right here. Sorry about that. I know you're going out there.
Brother,
you know what I'm saying?
that's good, man. It's all love. I grew up out here. I didn't have a choice. I have a choice to leave and go be safe in a white neighborhood. Nope. What's up, brother? Good?
Yeah.
You walk by all that shit?
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
It's crazy, man. I mean, this ain't the first time, but I'm glad to see a lot of people waking up and seeing, you know, like...
Through all these times, all this turmoil that we have to continuously watch white people infringe on black people.
Right. I had to stop hanging around with some white people because...
I stopped hanging out with a lot of white people.
Yeah.
I don't hang out with hardly any white
It's just
people.
we can't stand that. We can't stand that
I'm not
bullshit.
comfortable no more. At the
What?
workplace, wherever you go, you're not that kind of black guy.
Right. Yeah. You see that?
I mean, you're not, are you? Are you? I saw something on Facebook today that there was a black woman saying that she doesn't support George Floyd and she wasn't going to make him a martyr.
Make him a martyr, because of his background and his past.
Those kind of conversations that people are having about his character, to me, it's just fueling the the excuse that
The
he should have
excuse
died.
that he should have died.
They'd rather arrest 100, 1,000, maybe even 1 million African Americans and innocent, peaceful protesters before they'd arrest 4 bad cops.
You think it's okay for you to do that because what you perceive black people to be, they've turned everything that we do into a violent thing. That's what gives the rest of white America to be like, okay, it's justified that they're getting killed out there because they're doing it to themselves. What?
We are here to bring you live coverage of the funeral of George Floyd.
I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about my brother. All I think about is when he was yelling for mama.
Mm-hmm. A 40-plus-year-old man cried out for his mother, who he knew was already in heaven.
Please, please, I can't breathe.
Racism and what's been filmed is right here. But the iceberg, everything that we don't see, all this racism underneath the surface, it's enormous. And it's devastating. And it's disgusting.
Someone said, make America great again. But when has America ever been great? America, it is time for a change. Even if it shall begin with more protests, no justice, no peace.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter!
If you ain't black, you don't understand our struggle. This man died because of the skin that he is in. There is no such thing as a bloodless revolution. Period. War is war. And if I gotta die for my son, if I gotta die for my daughter, if I gotta die for my relatives and my friends, guess what? I'm willing to do it.
You will be arrested.
We're sick and tired of the abuse. I'm tired of my young, beautiful, black, white, African American, Native American, Latino people dying on these streets.
We're dealing with all this pain before George Floyd. We got Trayvon Martin, Terrence Franklin, Stephon Clark, and many, many, many more. Brian Jesus Quinones Rosario was a friend of mine. He's a rapper and MC.
Okay, look, I ain't gonna make it cause I'm a minority. Caucasians getting noticed in yours.
My friend Brian had his phone on Facebook Live while he was being pursued by police in his vehicle. He jumped out of his vehicle with a knife in his hand.
He's got a knife. Drop the knife. Drop it. Drop the knife.
And the police shot him.
Drop it.
It really hit me hard. So my son seen me cry a dozen or more times, maybe. He was murdered for being mentally unstable and needing help.
The Hennepin County Attorney will not file criminal charges against police officers involved in the deadly shooting of Brian Quinones.
Prosecutors say their actions were justified.
Brian being murdered is the main reason why I ended up being a part of the movement. I think about him every day. His soul was down, but he was so kind and caring. They need to really strip apart their process and how they train these police officers and put a little bit more accountability on the actions that these police officers take in the field.
I understand that you want to go back to your families, but because of what you did, somebody else can't go back to their families.
What I tell my son about racism and police brutality is he's a person of color. And he can't forget that. No matter how light his skin is, And he's gonna have the same troubles that I've had and the same troubles that my father had. Just gonna be a little bit different. Everything's gonna be all right. How do you feel about today?
Really good.
What's one of the things that you've noticed the most?
All the people that have shown up here, they aren't even worried about the COVID. They're worried about getting justice for George Floyd.
It's almost like COVID-19 took a plane back to Wuhan. Said, dang, America's crazy. We're out of here. It's funny, but it's not funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
My life is at risk every time I go outside.
When I first grew up, I thought police were cool, because anytime I would see a police officer at, like, Dairy Queen, I would go over to him and give him a fist bump or a high five. I actually wanted to be a cop all the time, but then once people started dying around me that had been killed by the police, I just kind of lost that.
The world has shown us that even if you follow the law, you can still be killed by the police. If you're black, doesn't matter if you run into a nice police officer, they're all taught the same. My little sister is a police officer, and she's changed because of that title and that badge. Some of the world might always think that you're white, but what's happened in my lifetime is more often than not, you're a nigga no matter what. What kind of example is America giving to my kid? How do I redirect that, you know? So I teach my son to use his voice, to speak up. He's not going to be raised the way that I was raised, on the false pretense that it's not okay to be emotional, that it's not okay to cry.
Some people got it, some people don't.
My husband was Brian Quinones. He was murdered by the police on September 7th, 2019. I'm with Family Supporting Families Against Police Violence. So before me, we have all families who have lost loved ones to the hands of police.
I'm Valerie Castile. I'm Philando Castile's mother.
My brother was killed by the police in Denver, Colorado.
I'm here on behalf of Billy Hughes, my nephew.
My older brother, Isaac, was shot and killed by Eagan and Bloomington officers.
Don Taylor Wright, AKA Chicken Wang, he was killed May 31st, 2012.
In Minnesota, there's over 400 families that are have lost loved ones by the hands of the police since the year 2000.
20 bodies a year. It shouldn't be any. Everybody deserves their day in court. They need the help that they need. They shouldn't be dead because of the color of their skin.
Tell it, baby, tell it. We shouldn't have to see any more innocent black men on the ground. We shouldn't see police driving by and just seeing an innocent man going over to them and being able to kill them with no justice. Now, I loved somebody that died. His name was Brian Quinones. And they killed him.
Say his name, baby.
Brian Quinones!
Brian Quinones!
Brian Quinones!
Brian Quinones!
That's right, baby. Let him know.
I love every single one of you that had to lose somebody over these years. And I'm so sorry. I had to say what was true.
I know.
I'm so glad you said that. This is what I'm talking about. Your voice is important, not only to me, to everybody. And you just proved that right now.
What you did today, you had something to say and everybody heard you. You're more wise beyond your years because of the trauma that you've been through. It's not necessarily a good thing that you're mature for your age.
To be honest,
It's actually a bad thing.
I've been trying to put that all behind me,
Yeah?
all the trauma, because I don't want that to be, you know.
You don't want it
me.
to define you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I definitely don't want it to define you because it's definitely defined me for a long time. Good night, son.
Good night.
Get some rest, dude.
I will.
You're gonna need it. I love you, son.
I love you too, Dad.
He's struggling on all fronts, just like I am. I don't know if I'm the one doing harm to him by us being here. Follow me, baby. When all this first started off, we decided to put all of our kids down here in the basement because there was a lot of shooting. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that first week, there was a lot of shootings. Felt it would be a little bit safer for the kids all to be downstairs because any strays that would come towards our house would basically be hitting all of the bedrooms where me and my wife are and where the two youngest ones were. All right. Good night, little baby. I love you.
Thank you.
I love you too, baby. A lot of people died in my neighborhood after George Floyd. In the news, they named where I was living the autonomous zone. And I guess autonomous means like lawless in a way. Whoa. Gunshots. That was 6 of them.
This is the Minnesota State Patrol. You are in violation of the Minneapolis City Ordinance for curfew violation. Reverse or you will be arrested.
This is hell, living here, having to watch my son suffer all the time and be worried and anxious. We're trying to move out and I don't have good job history. And I know that some things are out of my control, but I still hold guilt because I don't know whether or not this is gonna have long-term negative effects on my kids or not. All this shit happened because of George Floyd, right? But we've been dealing with Brian since September 7th of 2019.
That night I turned my phone off and went to sleep. I woke up to 160 missed calls. And I went on Facebook. You seen the video of Brian in the car. And I had to see it all. Why though? Why? Why'd they do that to us, man? They have to do that to us, bro. For real. They took them from us, man.
Yep.
Fuck is crazy.
Mm-hmm. How you doing, King?
Pretty good. Good. How you, bro?
I'm good. Good to see you, brother.
You too.
It's not okay, but it's okay. I love you.
Brian Jesus Quinones Rosario. On this day 1 year ago, he was murdered by the police right here in Richfield, Minnesota, by Richfield and Edina police officers.
I'm in my feelings today. I've been crying because they killed my nigga for no reason. He needed help. He didn't need no bullets. So that means if I have a mental breakdown, I look like my nigga Brian. So if I have a mental issue and I run against some cops, they gonna kill me and they gonna go home and they gonna sleep. I ain't with it.
He said he ain't with it, I ain't with it either. You know, I already know. Just so everybody knows, we're getting ready to march all the way down to the site where Brian Quinones was murdered.
No peace, no justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. Say his name.
Brian Quinones.
Say his name.
Brian Quinones.
Don't shoot. Hands up. Don't shoot. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now.
The police have all these different tools on their belts that are non-lethal. The mace, the baton, the taser. They don't need to pull out the gun first. The police are racist because America has always been. Those few bad apples will get protected by those other good officers.
Hello?
Wagwan.
Nothing, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, kid?
I'm good. Well, I went back to work.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Are you doing okay, kid?
Mm-hmm. I just don't know how to act around you. I hate my whole profession and saying that people should be hit in the head with bricks.
And there's people that you know are not good in your profession that get away with bad things. In my eyes right now, people are guilty until proven innocent. Because that's how they treat people that look like me. White people, cops. I'm always the one who looks guilty no matter where I go. And that's my life experience.
Right, but you've never asked me how any of this makes me feel. You've never once asked my opinion.
Because one of the last times we had a conversation about this, you said that you would have killed my friend too.
Because it was suicide by cop, Jamie. Like, and you... We're going to agree to disagree on that one. I don't know how else to tell you that all of the trainings I've gone to say that that's a suicide by cop.
There's 5 officers. They all have tasers. I don't want to hear it, Selena. They all have tasers.
Okay, I'm not going to bring my
exactly.
hands to a gunfight.
All right. That hurts. My sister cares more about being a cop. And that's okay. You know, I have to accept that. I have to accept. And it is a difficult pill to swallow right now, for sure. And this definitely pushed us further away. I probably won't contact her again. She just kept saying her training, her training, her training. If you're being taught to kill somebody because they are having a mental issue, I could have any moment. How do you explain that?
Court. Now you're just gonna leave him laying there dead. No, damn if anybody else got you would have cuffed him alive.
That conversation right there that I had with my sister, it makes me hate police even more. And if I had nothing to lose, I would take some police out myself. Absolutely, I would do it. No questions asked. I'm already not afraid to die, but I'm afraid of what happens if I die for my kids.
Between 16 and 26 million people in America participated in Black Lives Matter protests, making it the largest social movement in U.S. history.
Both parties agree new police reform laws are needed, but disagree on how to do it.
Activist leaders say some things are already changing, and they say other things are stubbornly the same.
This is a white Republican Trump supporter area for the most part. For me, it's a little scary. I've been out in this area before. I could get targeted going to work. I could have racial slurs thrown at me. If we were to transfer you out to these schools out here, the middle school is over there, and that's the high school right there. I mean, it's got its positives and negatives, but we like how we feel being up here. I think we've been adjusting well.
I feel like I've been holding myself back from adjusting. For some reason, I feel like if I get adjusted, I'm just gonna have to get unadjusted again, and then just to get readjusted.
Well, that's what life is all about, is constant readjustment. It's not an easy pill to swallow when you know that you're messed up, and you know that you're healing, but even through healing, you can feel how messed up you are.
It has been getting better, though. I feel a lot better.
We're trying. We're trying to get there. Being away from the chaos of the neighborhood because of what happened to George, it's so comforting and uncomfortable at the same time. I know I struggle with feeling like I left a lot of people behind when I moved out of there, but we're here because we didn't have anywhere else to go. You know, like, it was not easy to get here. It's so quiet out here, man, and we can all feel the safety and comfort. But then again, I probably won't ever be comfortable anywhere because the police are everywhere. That's the biggest gang in the United States.
One saucer for you.
I don't know if we know where we fit in yet. It's an adjustment, but this has been a healthy adjustment. I want to be comfortable so bad. Tyson and myself are actually in therapy now.
This is what I've been missing.
You had talked about being able to stay on task when you have like multiple stressors and feeling overwhelmed pretty easily. How has that been over the last week?
I'd say it's been a little bit better. We are really doing our best though, and as uncomfortable as I still might be, I am so much more comfortable than I was 3 months ago because I was so angry all the time, and you know, I had so many thoughts going on from what was going on outside, and then I'm bringing that into my home, and I'm scaring the hell out of my kids and my wife, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm definitely mourning my younger sister, who's the police officer, because I haven't spoken to her, and I don't feel the desire to, and that hurts. Most of my pain comes from trauma and loss.
We ain't having it. If there ain't no justice, there ain't no peace.
My feelings have definitely not been validated by anybody in my family besides my dad, because he's a black man. You know, I've followed in his footsteps in a lot of ways, some good, some bad, to where he knows that I'm just a hurt black man like he once was.
The mental strain on you is exponentially higher.
I put a post up on my social media on Facebook about wanting to start a men's group on Sundays. Some of these guys, I feel like if we all just got into the same space, we could all really benefit from each other. You know, you can be vulnerable too, and you can talk about what's going on too, and release that pressure that you hold inside of yourself too. What I believe this movement exposed for people is what we as Black people and people of color have been saying the whole time, that the system is broken. And we don't have to do anything but exist to be a target.
People don't have to die. People don't understand how hurtful it is to wake up and be so uncomfortable being in your skin.
I do feel a sense of privilege that we were able to get the hell out of there, even though it felt like it took forever. I feel guilty for the people of color who don't have any other option. We need to get back to the basics, understand who we are, where we come from, and what we're trying to seek out in this world. That, to me, will be a great start to healing. I believe as a country we can heal, but we have to listen.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.